Batman, the 1989 Tim Burton directed movie, was the first of 4 '90s Batman movies. And what do you think? Do you think that this one is the best?
Yes.
I do too. And there's also the second one, which is Batman Returns, which is really goofy, but I enjoy it. And then there's the next 2. But we'll get to those one day.
Bat nipples.
No, let's not talk about bat nipples.
I want to talk about the bat nipples eventually.
But first things first is Michael Keaton as Batman. Where do you think that he stands as far as like the Batman and Bruce Waynes go that we've seen in live action so far?
Best Bruce Wayne, next to last Batman.
Okay. Well, I definitely think he's first of all, I think he's the best Batman, or the best Bruce Wayne. Because it's kind of weird, like the way he acts in the movies, he's kind of charming, but he's kind of like awkward and weird.
Yeah.
And he just seems like, every time I see him without like, as Bruce Wayne, I feel like that's like a guy that runs around town dressed as a bat. Like this is the way that the guy would act in real life.
Yeah.
Like he's so strange and like disconnected. Like you can tell like the way when he's talking, when he's trying to hit on like Vicky.
Yeah.
Like, just the way he acts is so strange. And it's like, I love it. It's like he's not completely out there, but you can tell that like there's something going on.
Oh yeah. The scene where like the Joker shows up and is like shooting around everybody, and he's just like standing there walking through like
Yeah.
Nobody does that. Come on, man.
And then speaking of the Joker, there's Jack Nicholson.
Yeah.
Who is the Joker. And then what did you think about his interpretation of the Joker?
Second best.
Second best. With me, it's kind of all over the place with me the way I think about things, because like as far as like just like movie adaptations of the Joker, I would like Heath Ledger.
Yeah.
But with like as far as like a comic accurate type Joker, I would go with Heath Ledger. Like he's more cartoony.
Yeah.
Like when he's one of my favorite scene of the Joker in the Batman movie is when he shakes the guy's hand and he has the taser.
Yeah.
And he shocks the guy to death, and it's pretty like just things like that. Like when he has the gun, when he pulls the trigger and the bang sign comes out. It's things like that. It's like that's stuff that you're not going to get out of Heath Ledger. That would be very out of place in that movie. That movie's great, but you put some of his cartoon elements in it, and that would be a little odd.
Oh yeah.
So, as I said before, it was directed by Tim Burton, which means with Tim Burton you get Danny Elfman doing the score, and this score is kind of crazy because I feel like it's like really stuck onto Batman. Like the 90s Batman animated series, which is my favorite version of Batman and my favorite version of the Joker. The intro song is also made by Danny Elfman.
Yeah.
And it was just like a slightly redone version of the Batman theme song from this movie.
Yeah.
And so to me, like when I think about Batman, this is like the only theme that I really hear. Another thing that this movie really stands out for this movie is the way Gotham City looks. Like when you watch like the Christopher Nolan movies, that looks like a real city.
Yeah. That
looks like that could be like San Francisco or New York or something. In this movie, this does not look like any real place on Earth.
No.
Like it's like and it kind of reminds me of like the way the Gotham City looked in the animated series.
Yeah.
It's kind of like this like I don't know, like it's like this weird gothic aesthetic that like just
it's all dirty and grimy and there's trash everywhere.
And it looks like a place where a bunch of people dress up as characters and like fight each other overnight. Like which is like that's one thing about Batman I always thought was like so strange if you think about it. Like at least like all these characters, Marvel and DC, they these superheroes, they dress up and fight bad guys, but they all kind of like I felt like they were like directed that way from like gaining superpowers and trying to do good.
Yeah.
Batman is really just an orphan that dresses up and just runs it like he's just a rich child pretty much. Which don't get me wrong, I love Batman. I think Batman's like 1,000 notches above every other DC hero, but it's just like when you think about like all these characters in Gotham, most of which do not have any superpowers, and they're all dressed in these eccentric costumes, like just like fighting each other all night. Like it's just it's a weird place, and I think that like the aesthetic of this, I feel like the aesthetic of this movie really like accurately depicts like a world where all these characters exist.
Yeah, I don't think anybody could have done it any better than Tim Burton.
Oh no, absolutely not. But with it being the 90s, there's some a 90s comic book film. There's some good things and there's definitely some bad things.
We've said that we like Michael Keaton as Bruce Wayne.
But like his Batman, there's a couple of things that like I think could have used some work. One is the cowl of the costume.
Yeah.
Like with his head, it's like this rubber thing, and he can't really turn his head, so he's kind of just like, and I don't know, it really takes me out of it every now and then.
Oh, if you've ever noticed, like watching the scenes, like when he's not in the Batmobile, the ears are longer.
Oh.
When he's in the Batmobile, they're shorter because it wouldn't fit in the Batmobile.
Yeah, this is kind of something I feel with this movie and the Christopher Nolan movies is the bat suit just being black. Like that doesn't do. Like I like the design. Don't get me wrong. But like you're watching, like you're reading the comics or like watching the '90s animated series.
Yeah.
Like it's not black really. It's like it's gray.
It's gray.
Like the cape's blue. His cowl is black, but like the suit is gray. And like I feel like I don't know. To me personally, like that's the look for Batman that I prefer.
The gray.
Yeah.
So you like the Ben Affleck?
Yeah, Ben Affleck I think has the best like live action suit.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I'll agree with that.
But with that being said, I mean this is like, even though I said I prefer the gray Batman suit, like this one is a great looking Batman suit too. I wish that he could move his head, but outside of that, I really like the design.
Sure, Michael Keaton probably wished he could move his head too.
Oh yeah. I mean, I felt like that was a very uncomfortable movie for him to make.
Oh yeah, it had to have been.
I mean, I felt like Beetlejuice, like was a lot of time in the makeup chair, but I felt like that would have been more fun at the end of the day.
Oh yeah.
Alright, so with the Joker, we have a backstory in this movie. His name is
Jack Napier.
Jack Napier, and as we were talking about earlier, his name is Arthur Fleck in the last Joker movie with Joaquin Phoenix. And that's one thing about Joker is that like his backstory is never consistent. Like his name, his how he got to being the Joker and who he is. Like it seems like there's no real backstory because like it's been said that like the Joker doesn't even know who he really is. Yeah. So like we would never know.
I like that.
I like that too. I like knowing nothing about the Joker. Yeah. And the things that we do know about the Joker, not knowing if those are true.
Yeah.
So like it's like I've seen several different backstories with him, and they have a couple of similarities. Like in this movie, for example, he killed Batman's parents.
Yeah.
Which is kind of like hinted at in the Joker movie with Joaquin Phoenix as well.
Yeah.
So like that's a thing that comes up pretty often, and of course him like falling into the chemicals, which is like what dyed his face. But yeah, overall I like this backstory for the Joker, and especially like one thing that's like really strange that he does in the movie is obviously he has that like white stained skin after he falls into the pit of chemicals. And one thing he does in this movie, which I've never really seen anything else, is he puts makeup on to make himself look like a normal person.
Yeah.
Which is so strange, especially when the makeup starts like smearing.
Yeah.
Like he looks so bizarre.
Yeah.
It's very strange to look at, and like I think that's creepy, really. The fact that like his normal, that skin tone's coming off and it's like all white. Another thing about this movie is we talked about Danny Elfman doing the score. But then every other song, like the actual, like the soundtrack, is all Prince.
Yeah.
Which I'm not into Prince, but like I dig it for this movie because it seems so bizarre. Like it seems so out of place to me.
Yeah. I don't think Tim Burton liked it though.
Did he not?
No, I don't think so.
I don't know. It doesn't seem like a Tim Burton thing. But at the same time, I don't know. It's so weird. Like when he's going through the museum, and they're like, there's a scene where it's pretty much like him and all his Goonies are going through this museum and like trashing all the paintings and all the artwork, and they're pretty much just dancing around with Prince. and it's so like cartoony and bizarre, but like I love it.
I'm glad you brought that up. That's my favorite scene and my least favorite scene.
Why is it your least favorite scene? Because I think that
because it is so cheesy, it's so campy, but it's so good.
I love it. I think it's so amusing. Like I was laughing like when I watched it the other night. Like I was like there was a smile on my face during that entire scene. It's amazing. Okay, as far as side characters go, we said Vicky a second ago.
Yeah.
They were like, she's a love interest for Bruce Wayne, but like I don't know, I'm not really. As far as Batman goes, I'm not interested in the love stories.
No.
But what I am interested in is Billy D. Williams as
Harvey Dent.
Harvey Dent.
Oh,
yeah.
He would have been awesome if they'd have let him play Two-Face.
Yeah, he's really good in the movie. He really like. I don't know. He stood out for the movie for me because first of all he's Lando, of course. So, but also like I don't know. He seemed like a Harvey Dent that like he seemed like he was like trying to do good for the city.
Oh yeah.
And he seemed like I don't know. He seemed like I think that would have been a good setup for him to be Two-Face in a later movie. Of course, we did get Two-Face later, but it was Tommy Lee Jones.
Yeah.
So.
Oh.
Yeah. So, but we'll get to that movie one day.
Yeah.
But I would have preferred it being I don't know. For the movie that we got Two-Face in, I think that Tommy Lee Jones would have been better than Billy D. Williams. Just because I think Billy D. Williams deserves better in that movie. The only character that really kind of like falls short for me is Commissioner Gordon.
Oh yeah.
I feel like he's just there.
Yeah.
Like I don't know. He always kind of seemed like he was a very like strong presence in Batman's life in the animated series. And in this movie, he just kind of exists. Like he doesn't really
like
do
running
anything.
around in a suit. He's some old fat dude. Like that's not Commissioner Gordon.
No. I feel like I always felt like I don't know. I always really dug Commissioner Gordon in the animated series, and like in this movie, he's just kind of there. He's just a guy.
Yeah.
So
he plays the same guy plays Commissioner Gordon in all 4 movies, right?
I'm not sure.
I think so.
I mean, I kind of just blacked out when I was watching the last two. So
I think him and Alfred are the only ones that like.
Alfred's great too.
Yeah.
I love him. His little in between like. His like the position he has in between Vicky and Bruce Wayne's in their relationship, I dig it. Going back to the Joker, he's got 2 lines in particular in this movie that like really stood out to me. He says, "I make art until someone dies," and then he says, "Like me, she's a living work of art." And like for some reason those like really stuck out to me. I even wrote them down. I was like, I want to remember those.
I like the one right before he shoots. Bruce Wayne's parents.
Oh, okay.
You ever dance with the devil in the
pale
moonlight?
Yeah, that's a great one too. I like that scene where he's confronting Bruce Wayne, not Batman, but Bruce Wayne.
Yeah, and
Bruce
Biggie
Wayne.
Bell's
Yeah, and Bruce Wayne screams that too.
Yeah.
It was like he went crazy in that scene. I love it. Yeah. So I think though my favorite part of the Joker in this movie is the fact that he destroys 2 TVs.
Does he really?
Yeah, he destroys 2 TV sets in this movie. One time he's just watching it and he just shoots it.
Okay, I remember that.
There's another one too. I don't remember if he shot it, but like I remember like just being like, it blew my mind the second time. I was like, there's no way. Like I was really hoping that what was gonna happen because I haven't seen this movie in like 10 years. And what I was hoping was like when we were watching the movie, that like every so often he would just destroy a TV. Maybe I would have like a little chart. Keep up with every TV he destroyed, but no, it's just 2. He left it at 2. So, we hated on the Batman suit a little bit earlier, but on the opposite end of that, the Batmobile in this movie is my favorite Batmobile. This one reminded me of kind of like what it looked like in the animated series, and it just like I don't know. To me, like this is the only Batmobile like I really like picture with Batman.
For this movie, yeah. It works for this movie.
Yeah. It doesn't work when you're trying to do a more realistic thing, but as far as like the live action Batman or the Batmobiles, I think that this one's definitely the one that like I associate with Batman just in general the most. It's definitely not the costume that I associate with him the most, but it's definitely the Batmobile. Alright, so as we said earlier, this movie came out in 1989.
Yeah.
So, obviously it's been a little while. We've seen quite a few Batman movies since then.
Yeah.
But how do you think that this one holds up?
I think it still holds up fairly well.
I think it does too. It's definitely a product of its time, especially like I said with the suit and some of the CGI effects, the little bit that we have.
Yeah.
Things like that are definitely like aged quite a bit. But I think there's definitely still some charm to this movie that has stood the test of time, and I don't think that could be duplicated either.
Probably not. No.
No, it's just I don't know. And it's very Tim Burton. I'm a huge fan of Tim Burton, and this is definitely feels like a Tim Burton version of Batman.
Can I guess your favorite Tim Burton film?
Yep.
Big Fish.
Big Fish, yeah,
No.
definitely. But all in all, I think that this movie holds up pretty well. Tim Burton directed the next one, which is Batman Returns, which we get to see Danny DeVito as the Penguin.
Oh yeah.
Yeah, and after that, it kind of falls apart for a little while. But
I'm not even gonna lie, man. I still like the other movies.
I like them too, but
They're fun.
they're not like watching this movie. I'm like, that was like a good time that I don't have to feel ashamed for thinking it was a good time. Those movies, I felt bad about myself when I watched them.
Get a good laugh though.
Oh, absolutely.
Get some good cringe moments out of it.
But so as far as this movie goes, what would you give as far as a rating?
Good.
Good. I think that I would probably do good as well. I think that maybe if Michael Keaton could have moved his neck, or Jeff Goldblum made it into the movie somehow, it would have been great. But for right now, I think I'm just gonna go with good.
I go with good.
Okay, that's it. If you like this video, you should like it and let us know what your favorite version of Bruce Wayne is in the comment section. I'll see you next time.
See ya.